This is a part 4 of our Veterans History Project, Oral History with Mr. Bill Doyle. It's Sunday, April 27th, 2008. And actually what we're going to do here is just take a look at some of Bill's memorabilia that he's got from his time in the service. Bill, how about your shadow box? Tell us a little bit about that.
Well, of course, there's my picture. That was taken here in the States before I went overseas.
Mm-hmm.
And then the shadow box, this flag here, was flown over the Capitol of the United States on the occasion of my 75th birthday. And I have the papers to prove that in here, too. And my son did that for me while he was stationed in Washington in the Navy. He got that flag for me. And down here are all the ribbons, medals that I'm entitled to wear.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first medal. The yellow medal is the first one that I ever received, and that's the American Defense Medal. Over here, the next one is a Good Conduct Medal, which I'm very, very proud of having that one. This is a World War II Victory Medal here. And over here is the ETO ribbon. I have 3 battle stars and a spearhead that I'm entitled to wear. Purple Heart, the Bronze Star, and my Combat Infantry's badge here. Over here is my infantry. It tells I was in the infantry. I wore this on my lapel up here, there. And over here it says US 175, that's 175th Infantry. And in the middle is a Presidential Unit Citation that was awarded to my battalion for our operation on Hill 108 in France in 1944 in June. This is my wallet that I had in my pocket when I was wounded. And there's still a little piece of shrapnel left in there that, and my driver's license too.
Your driver's license and the piece of shrapnel, and you had a dollar bill from that era.
Yep.
Was in there.
Mm-hmm. And several other things. I have a Class A pass here that let me get around Paris a good bit. Let me see if I can get that out of here. There's the dollar bill. That's the dollar bill that was in my wallet, and this is my pass. It's a Class B pass, and that entitled me to go away from my train. And this was my identification for the 175th Infantry when I was in the training company number 10 down at Fort Meade. And but all these things I had in my wallet, and some of them have a hole in them.
So that wallet was with you up on the Martinville Ridge that day.
Yep.
When you were wounded.
Yes, it was. It certainly was with me.
Now, who's this good-looking guy in this ID badge here?
This is my identification that they gave me when I boarded the Queen Mary to go over to Europe. And you won't find many enlisted men having an identification like this. This is strictly for officers. That's an officer's identification tag. And you can see the holes in here where that piece of shrapnel went through when I was wounded. Yeah. I want to put these back later on, just leave them like that.
Sure.
Yeah.
If we could take a look at some of the stuff, you were showing some really, I'll actually just pop these behind you. I'll make sure they all get put back. You had gone and we're looking at some of the pictures. I thought maybe we could go through from 41 and 42. There's some really neat pictures of you, particularly back during your training days and stuff.
Oh.
See what we have here.
Some. Yes, okay.
Please.
Yeah. I don't know if you're interested in my discharge.
Well, it's good to know that you got out of the service there, right? There you go. And you were talking to me earlier that it says the Army of the United States.
Right. Army of the United States. Got it?
Yes, sir.
All right. And this is, I got this from St. Louis, Missouri. That entitles me to wear all of these medals here. These are all on record at the Army, I don't know what you call the place, where they keep the records for the Army and the Navy and the Air Corps.
Mm-hmm.
And these are pictures here of when I first went in the service. It's myself and my wife. She wasn't my wife at the time, she was my girlfriend, and her little sister. Bill Doyle here.
Mm-hmm.
That's a rookie.
Now here you are.
This picture was taken some time later of my mother and me, and I was a buck sergeant at the time that was taken.
1942, still before you're maybe before you've gone abroad,
That's
right?
just before we went overseas. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Look at some of these pictures.
The light machine gun squad that I was in. As a matter of fact, when I was made corporal, I had a light machine gun squad.
Mm-hmm.
And some other fellows were out drinking beer one day, Herb, Clark, and me. And here is what they gave me when I was made corporal.
Look at these pictures.
And some commendations that I had received
Mm-hmm.
when I was in the number 10 training company at Fort Meade. Okay.
You're doing good work. Yes, sir.
All right, and
Get some more Bill Doyle
these
photos.
are other pictures. My friend Glenn Farnsworth, he was a good soldier. Glenn went to OCS. He became, I think he was a captain when he was discharged after the war. But he was in the special service. And they dropped him in Norway. And the Germans chased him all over the country. Never did get him. And he came home. Poor fellow. I think about 2 years after he was discharged, he died. He lived up here in Mount Airy. Good old buddy of mine, Joe Galloway, another good friend who went to OCS and became an officer, and he was awarded the Distinguished Service Cross too. And a young lady that I met in South Carolina, Hartsville, South Carolina, while we were on the Carolina maneuvers. It's Belle Thornwell was her name. This is she over here. You can get what she looked like. Real nice young lady. Real nice. I was lucky in the service. I met a lot of nice people.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
These pictures were taken down at AP Hill. And I just had to have that picture taken while at KP one day.
This is you?
This is me.
Oh, in KP. Let me get a look at that one so it doesn't get in the, oh, God. You had to do a little bit of everything there, didn't you,
Yeah.
Sergeant Doyle? On down at AP Hill. Mm-hmm.
Yep. And this is on a march down
this is
to
excellent.
AP Hill.
I want to just make sure I get that on there. I can come around this side. You can just hold it up.
Okay.
Oh, it's perfect.
Yeah.
Now, this is the march.
We were marching from Fort Meade to AP Hill,
Mm-hmm.
which is 90 miles. But we only marched about 10 or 11 miles a day. And it took us 10 days to get down there. Yeah.
Great pictures there. And this is all during the march, huh?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Let's see
Yeah.
what I've got here. There.
Fellows taking a bath in the stream down there. And me outside of my pup tent.
There you
all the
are,
way down.
right there, inside your. Wow, then you're in a pup tent.
Mm-hmm.
Toughening you up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Keep going.
And these are about Joe Galloway and Life in England. That's a nice poem somebody wrote. I don't know who. It's a letter here that the priest in St. Ives wrote to my wife when when we left St. Ives to go to France. After we were in France, he wrote that letter to her. These fellows were artillerymen from Pikesville. It's my friend Bill Douglas, who dropped in on his wife. He came home from Europe on a pass, and he dropped in on her. She didn't even know he was coming. It really surprised her. He says, wife thinks wounded hero back from front is a ghost. I don't know how he got that pass to come home. I think Posca, the company commander, and they were pretty good friends.
Who had kept these newspaper articles, Bill?
My wife.
Good.
My wife kept everything that she could find about the 29th Division. She kept and made an album for me. And this was a good story when Baltimore heroes win praise for fighting way out of an invasion trap. Yeah, the Germans had us pinned down for about 3 days. But
Mm-hmm.
and Louis Azrael was with us all the time. I don't know if you know him or have ever heard of him, but he was a reporter for the Baltimore News Post. And that was my company commander, Captain Posca. He was a nice fellow. I liked him. All these pictures were taken down at Blanding. These 4 pictures here.
This is all during training before you.
Yeah, before we went overseas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and
Mm-hmm.
there's Harry Hendricks. He was killed in action. Pete Margot killed in action. Weibel, he was wounded, but he came home. And Ed Monroe, he's the one I told you that he knew General Marshall, went to school with him at VMI, and he was a private in the 175th Infantry. Yeah. That's my platoon, the 3rd Platoon C Company.
Where are you, Bill? You in that picture?
Right
Right there. There's the man on the right. Now, the 3rd Platoon C Company, and you're the platoon sergeant.
Yeah.
You're the man. You're the top guy in charge of these guys, right?
That's right. Yeah, that was my platoon.
Yeah, it's great. Look at your boots, your shoes, your what do you have? Just like we see today.
They were leggings.
The leggings, yeah.
Yeah, the canvas leggings is what we wore, and that was coveralls. That was
our coveralls or something.
that was our uniform when we went out in the field.
And where was this taken again?
This was taken to St. Ives in England. Yeah, St. Ives. Mm-hmm.
Bill, and if you don't mind telling me, of this group of guys, this is before you deploy. This is your platoon. How many of them are wounded, including yourself, by the time we get to St. Lo? You know?
I'll bet you every one of these fellas have either been killed or wounded. Every one. I'll bet every one can wear the Purple Heart. There's Zika. Zika was shot right across the top of his head. I used to see him. He lived down in Elk Ridge where I lived, and he was never steady on his feet after that. After he was wounded, and he had a good trade. He was a machinist by trade, and pretty good at it. He spoke real broken English. He was born in the States. These people took him back to Poland when he was a baby. And then he came back, when he was an adult, he came back to the States. And he was inducted into the service the same time I was. Most of these people were. Here's McKenna, this fellow over here, had been in the service before the war started. And after he got out of the service, and then afterwards they made him come back in again. They brought him back in, met him. So, this is the plaque that we put down in Bedford, Virginia, on the D-Day Memorial in Bedford, Virginia. We put this plaque up about a month or 2 ago.
Mm-hmm.
Got it?
Got it.
Okay. And these are just articles that my wife took out of the paper, newspaper. Now, I don't know, in England, they had farm girls over there. This girl here, you can't see it very well. It's not a real good picture. But she has a big bag of cauliflower on her back there. That's what she was harvesting. And you can't see it very well. It's not a real good picture, but I did take that. And
there's the same picture you just showed me of you guys at St. Ives.
that's right, yeah.
Third platoon.
That's Ed McKenna. He was a friend of mine too. Now,
Here we are with it.
that's the little boy we adopted
Where are you in this picture, Bill?
right here. See it?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And
There's the stripes.
that was taken on a Sunday morning at Tidworth Barracks in England.
Wow.
That little boy's parents had been killed in an air raid in London. And we got together and gave him some money for something. I think the newspaper article is in the back here, but I'm not going to take it out now. This one is about my cousin Billy Albers, who was in the service. His record.
Mm-hmm.
These all fellows who were not in my platoon, but in my company. Two of them were in my platoon. But
Oh, here's a picture I want to show.
here's another one that
You got it. Now we see this. This is taken where?
this was taken someplace in England when we were at St. Ives, somewhere near St. Ives. And this little boy here had lost his leg in an air raid. And our company got enough money together to buy him a new leg every time that artificial leg, every time that he needed it. You know, as he was growing older. And so
Now there's a good-looking guy standing up behind him.
right here, that's
Yeah.
me.
That's Bill Doyle.
Right here, yeah.
I gotta love this. Now let's take a look at the uniform you've got on there. You've got you said what kind of? You have a raincoat on, Bill?
He has a raincoat, yeah.
Mhm. And what's around your waist?
A cartridge belt.
Mm-hmm.
That's my cartridge belt there.
Your weapon?
And my weapon is the M1 rifle. Is hanging on my shoulder. Yeah.
And you got, looks like you have gloves on. Gloves?
No,
on?
no gloves.
No.
Maybe I did. Looks like I
Looks
did.
like you have some kind of gloves. But the
Well,
weather would have been cold. That's a great picture of you guys.
well, these fellows
Certainly
were all in
trained.
my company. Pete Morgill, Williams, and I know them all, but I can't think of their names now.
That's okay.
Yeah.
They're tough looking guys, Bill. You're all looking tough.
Well,
I'm not gonna mess with you.
they were all good soldiers. All those fellows were good soldiers. Oh, these are this is a list of names of all the men in the 29th Division who were buried. This one at St. James. Over here, all these people were buried at Colville, and yeah, it's a whole lot of them. At Colville, there are almost 10,000 men buried there, and there was more than 1,000 men were sent home. Their parents, well, the people wanted them home, so they sent the bodies home to be buried here. But, these fellows.
Now there are some Bill Doyle photos. Where else do we have of you? Look like you got some photos maybe with your wife.
I only had one that was way back. Yeah, there's one with my wife here. That's not such a good one. But this was in June 1942. Oh, here's my wife here. My father, my wife. That's my mother and me over here.
Where is that taken? Here in Baltimore? In the in the Baltimore area?
Yeah, they was taken at my home, at my parents' home. These two pictures were, yeah. And this one too, I believe. Yeah, I know that they were all taken at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's your dad and your wife?
Mm-hmm. My mother and father and me. And here is my father and Blanche and me and my mother here.
Mm-hmm.
You know, some of these fellows here were in that train crew. This fellow here was a medic in that train crew, and this fellow was a cook. And I was the boss. The crew was mine. I don't know if you can get a good picture of that or not.
Yeah, on the Jeep with these guys. Same. Excellent. Very good, Bill.
Yeah, and, Here's headquarters, the 98th General Hospital, Comzone, ETO, USA. Under the provisions of paragraph 16, articles 600-46, dated 22nd of September 1943, and circular number 32, number headquarters ETO, USA, dated 20th of March 1944. The following name: enlisted man, Technical Sergeant William C. Doyle, 33001212, Company C, 175th Infantry, 29th Division, for wounds received as a result of enemy action on the 17th day of July 1944 in Normandy, France area. And it was signed by Lieutenant Colonel Sullivan and another fellow. Some other people signed it too, but that's at the 98th General Hospital that I was in. Oh, here, that's it. Now this one is from the 279th Station Hospital. Now, I told you they took me out of that 98th General because I wasn't in bad enough shape to stay there. And I went to the Station Hospital in Wales, and there again, they gave me another big Purple Heart.
Where's your Purple Heart? You can get Purple Hearts left and right.
I got two of them. One I deserved, the other one didn't. But they gave me I got two Purple Hearts for the same wound. But yeah. And this is all about Purple
Heart Hill 108. How about these telegrams? Or is it Western Union? It says, "This is to Blanche, to your wife. Deeply regret to inform you that your husband, Technical Sergeant William L. Doyle, was slightly wounded in action in France, 17 July. Progress reports will be forwarded as received." And then there's a series of...
Julio, the Adjutant General.
The good old Adjutant General. There's all kinds of follow-up letters that you have there that indicate your status that she received.
Now this is from the War Department, the Adjutant General telling how I was making progress with my wound. There's 1, 2, and this one. And I was going. I was sent back to duty on September the 26th. No more reports.
He's back to work. Kick him out of the hospital, and away he goes.
There's a lot of things about the history of while we were in combat too. These articles here are right interesting. Some of them. They tell us where we were on certain days, like January the 1st, C Company. We were at Slapton Sands. That's when we had that, we were out on the LST and landed on Slapton Sands as if we were landing on Omaha Beach, you know. It was and this is a pretty good record of C Company. Theodore King, nice fella. And he's white. Oh, this is the picture that your friend sent me. What is his name now? I should write to him and thank him for those pictures. He had that the airfield in it was on right off of Omaha Beach.
Oh yeah, Mr. Balcom, Bob Balcom.
Yeah, right. And this was his the shack that he worked out of, which was a truck body. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
And that was where you were evacuated out of.
Yeah, that's where I was evacuated and sent back to England from there. That's the Omaha Beach airstrip. That was real nice of him to send me. Then Joe Belkowski wants to see these too. And, that's some of the landing on Omaha Beach. And these pictures, that's the Filthy 13, 101st Airborne. That, Jack Woolmer, Jack Woolmer's here. He went to train with the 29th Rangers, and they broke the Ranger Battalion up. It never went into active service. He came back to C Company, and he wasn't satisfied. He went back up to Scotland somewhere or another. He got up there and trained with the British Commandos. And somebody told him that if he got into the Air Corps, the 101st Airborne, he would make $50 a month more for being a paratrooper. So some way or another, he got into the 101st Airborne. And there he became one of the filthy 13. But this fella, Jack Wilmer, and Tojo over here, they were both C Company boys. Here's a story about them. Well,
these are great.
yeah, well,
Bill Doyle.
there's a lot here. I have the honor and pleasure to inform you that the commemoration medal created by the Regional Council of Normandy will be presented to you on Tuesday, the 7th of June, 1994 at 1600 o'clock. Place de Chateau Vire, France. And I went over there and got the medal.
Very nice.
Yeah.
There you are. Is that receiving it? Let's see.
Here's the Frenchman penning it on me. Here.
Very nice, Bill.
Yeah, that was in. And when I was over there, this young lady was singing this song about Normandy and how Normandy started, and all. It was very, very nice. And she sang the song in French, but I have the English translation here, and it's really, really interesting to read it. How Normandy got its name from the Norse, the Norse people that settled there. These are all people who were in my company back in 1942 before we went overseas. My brother Eddie was in Italy. He served with the 10th Mountain Infantry in Italy, and he wrote this letter to me. Here's the letter that he wrote to me, and it followed me all over Europe. I don't know.
Did it really? In his email?
I was a long time getting it because he put something was wrong in the address. But I finally did get the letter. Yeah. This is one of the orders that I got to take the train when we were going to take troops out. And these are names of all the people who were in my crew. And every time I went out with new troops, I would get orders like this, Mm-hmm. And they came in handy too. Here, invitation card. Technical Sergeant William Doyle, Private Amick and Private McAdoo would like your company at the coffee car for a cup of coffee at 1:35 p.m. March the 6th, 1945. Private John P. Amick and Mikado. They were kids, they were cooks in my outfit, yeah. And here is a surprise of all the supplies that were issued to me the first time we ever went out. And that's really interesting to see how much what we had on that train for food and other things to feed the troops. And, this is one of the reports that I kept for like 1,740 hours, departed Le Havre, arrived Yvetot in 1,900 hours, departed Yvetot, arrived Bouchy, departed Bouchy, Circuit.
Oh my gosh.
All of them.
And you
like
did that. You kept track of that.
Every time that train stopped, I wrote down where we were and the time. Yeah, and that's another order over here. And this is another one. But this is a picture of a little town up in the mountains of France. Théon, in the Vosges Mountains. It is. It's the city of Théon. That's my friend Johnny Burns. This is a poem that a fellow in the 116th Infantry wrote and sent to me. And here is something my father had put in the B&O magazine. My father worked for the B&O Railroad.
Harry Doyle's son honored. Harry J. I'm going to just read it. Harry J. Doyle, system chairman of Federated Chaps Crafts on the B&O, told a number of his friends about the remarkable experience which his son, Staff Sergeant William C. Doyle, had in battle. Wounded by shrapnel, he was taken to the hospital, and after he had been there a day or so, was given his personal belongings, among them his wallet. Picking it up to see how it had come through, he found a piece of shrapnel neatly embedded and concluded had it not been for the wallet, he would have suffered another wound. While in the hospital, Sergeant Doyle received a citation for a wonderful job in dead in battle. During the period 2944 to October 28, 44, Sergeant Doyle assigned his duties as Platoon Sergeant, demonstrated qualities of devotion to duty, which should be a matter of record. He ordered replacements and a well-knit and disciplined platoon. Signed by Captain King, and that was the obituary you showed me earlier.
Right, that's the picture I showed you.
Sergeant Doyle was in the thick of the fighting at St. Lo when his lieutenant was killed. He assumed command of the platoon, organized the men, and started to advance when he was hit by a mortar shell. He was one of 106 men and 4 officers who were trapped by the Nazis for 3 days. They ran out of food, but planes dropped supplies to them, and other members of the division helped to free them. While in France, Sergeant Doyle received the infantryman's badge and the Purple Heart. His wife is the former Blanche Brivogel?
Right, Brivogel.
Brivogel, Harethorpe, Maryland. He has 2 brothers in the service, Henry with the construction battalion of the Sea Beast somewhere in the South Pacific, and Edward V. in Italy.
Right.
Very good, Bill.
Yeah. And this is just maps of Hill 108.
This may be the map you were referring to, I think.
It tells where we were in June 17th, 18th, and 19th.
Mm-hmm.
And that's this little city down here is called Villers-Faussard.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere down below here. And but that's a pretty good map of the area where we were. Other maps. I put this here, La Madeleine. I was wounded somewhere close to this place right here.
Near La Madeleine, and that was just on the very edge of St. Lo as you were coming in.
That's right. We're right outside of St. Lo.
They eventually took it the next day.
The next day, I would have been in St. Lo.
Yeah.
Yeah, but no. Oh, I sent my authorization to send a pistol home, a little Mauser pistol that I picked up as a souvenir. Yeah. And a German paratrooper knife. They were pretty strict about what you sent home. These are fellows who were in my company, and they played music. Rex Hand was one of them, and Kokovich. There's the whole little band that they had. We're getting to the end. There's that picture. That's a.
Mm-hmm.
They rode him in, propped straight and proud and tall. That's that was a poem written for the Major of St. Lo, Colonel Major Howie.
Yeah.
Major Howie. Yeah. Here's the band. There's Berger, Rex Ham.
Uh-huh. Now these guys were doing this where across over
in
England.
This was taken in England, yeah, and his C Company. I don't know this fella here, Kokovich. I know him. Yeah, I was with Kokovich about a month before he died. He lives in Pennsylvania. He did live there. This is C Company when they were up in Bremerhaven, way up in the northern part of Germany. I was never up there
Yeah,
with them.
it's at the end of the war.
Yeah, at the end of the war. I was never there with them. And these are just... You remember seeing the picture of The Longest Day?
Uh-huh.
And red buttons hanging.
Yeah, there he is.
That's red buttons hanging from the steeple in that church there. And he said... Where the heck was that? I forget the name of the town. But anyway, these all just pictures. Sherwood Holman, F Company. I knew him well, and he got the Congressional Medal of Honor.
You knew him?
Yeah. Yep.
And did we see in the 29th Infantry Division Museum, don't they have
Yes, they
a
do.
display based on him, right?
Yep. Yes, they certainly do. And now here's C Company. When we first started, it was only Bill Douglas, Lenny Freed, and myself. When we first started going out to lunch, and here's my discharge papers, my card of declassification. I'm back to civilian. That was from the selective service. Here's one, the Mikado, around Christmas time. This is in Paris. My whole train crew, we went there, we got that. We were laying over in Paris for a couple of days and went to this nightclub there in Paris, and it was around Christmas time. I think I wrote the date. December the 30th, yeah, December the 30th, 1944. We were on our way back from Neufchâteau.
There's your union, your wire to your wife.
Arrived New York today. Fort Meade tomorrow evening. We'll call them Bill. That was Camp Kilmer. I sent that from Camp Kilmer. And here are the 31 Marylanders are on this boat, the Moses Austin and William Doyle, C Company, Technical Sergeant, Catonsville.
Your wife done good keeping that for you.
Yeah.
As I like to say.
Yes,
That's nice.
You know, one thing. Oh, this is it. This is the menu off the Queen Elizabeth on October the 5th, 1942.
On your way over to England.
This was in the officer's mess.
Sea bass. Hey, it looks pretty darn good.
Mm-hmm.
Excellent, Bill.
Yeah, and this is Bob Slaughter. He was thanking me for some information that I sent him about a friend of his. Bob Slaughter is from the 116th Infantry, and he had a lot to do with putting up that monument in Bedford. He had an awful lot to do about it. And this Daily Bulletin, I don't know what that is. I'd have to read it over. And just some pictures of different places over there. My friend Rob Bowen, he was in the 101st Airborne. I told you, we were in 2005, we were in Paris. The next day we would have been home. I'm standing talking to him, and he dropped dead. I told you about that, I think, yeah. And this is he and his wife, Christine. These are all C Company boys on a convention that we went to. Bill Douglas and Bill Doyle. I know these fellows, I can't think of their names now.
Mm-hmm.
But that's about it.
Excellent, Bill.
Yeah, that's about it. And,
picture there.
this picture here was taken down in Virginia.
Here we go. Some other pictures of Big Bill Doyle here. There you are.
Yeah.
Good looking guy. Look at that. Let's see where we have our...
Up here, this picture was taken at Fort Meade. That's Butrovich, Bill Doyle, and Johnny Burns. Lenny Freed, Barnsworth, Butrovich, and Bill Doyle.
Let's see.
Jody Wall was my first sergeant. He was a heck of a nice guy.
This is you guys up at Fort Meade?
This picture was taken up on Charles Street. Now, what was the name of that darn, the real swanky restaurant up on Charles Street, a bar?
Mm-hmm.
And we had a pass, and one evening we went up there.
Mm-hmm. Now, would this be the same epaulet that you have over here?
Yes, that's there. That's the same one.
Same one that's in your shadow box right there. Look at these guys. Excellent. 29ers and you.
Joby Wald. He was a good first sergeant. That guy was for a first sergeant, he was a good man. Oh, look at this one. Now,
okay.
this is going to turn you on.
Yeah.
Maybe you've seen that before.
Woman collaborator in Paris. Now, did you happen to see this? Were you there?
Yes, sir. Yep, I couldn't treat a person like that.
Yeah, they were not happy with her.
No. They cut her hair off, took all of her clothes off, and shoved her out in the street.
Yeah. Look at St. Lo. Pretty awful.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
That was St. Lo.
Mm-hmm.
After we took it. This fella here had more medals than Audie Murphy had. He had 4 silver stars. Yeah, Lightning Joe Fahrenholt. And that's the center of St. Louis in 1944. Hey,
Excellent job,
here's
Bill.
one that you might. This was in Con. That's how that little train right out in the middle of the street.
That's a latrine right there, huh?
Yeah.
This is a.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll just get a quick shot of that.
Can you get it?
Oh yeah, there's the guys. Green con, jeez. Looks like you got an MP in the middle of the hall. That's what you gotta do.
Yeah. Well, and that's about the end of it. These are just postcards that got around Christmas time from different people. And these are pictures of Hill 108.
Back up on Hill 108 where you were.
It looked like, yeah. And
well, thanks again, Bill.
oh, this is my friend Bud Brown. He's my golf partner for 20 years. And
Uh-huh.
when he died, he was buried over in Arlington National Cemetery. And these are pictures that I took when I went to his funeral. Bud Brown had been a lieutenant colonel in the Air Corps, and they gave him a good send-off. Real good send-off. These are other pictures.
You took these? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They had the caissons, had his casket on the caisson.
Mm-hmm.
The big army band was there.
Mm-hmm.
Everything. And the firing squad. Here's something.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to get out of here in a few
Yeah,
minutes.
right. We'll
That's
wrap it up.
It's okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
And,
sir.
I'd hate to leave you like I did.
Yeah.
But these stamps here were back in 1944, and they're all canceled on the battleship Missouri.
Are they really?
Yeah. I got these. They gave me these over in France one time when I was there. And then when I came home, I went to the post office and bought some of them here. So these are good stamps. I can use them if I want. But all these have been canceled on the battleship Missouri. Yeah. I'm going to give them to my son before somebody else gets them.
Yeah, you need to do that.
And that's about it. That's
Bill, excellent stuff. I
yeah.
especially enjoyed seeing some of those personal things you had there. It's great to.
Here is a priest in my parish. He was the assistant pastor in my parish. You remember the priest that wrote the prayer for Patton?
Yes, yes.
That's him.
Really?
That's him. Yeah, right. Yep. That's so Father Kedash, a heck of a nice guy. His brother lives over here in Arbutus, and I keep in touch with him. But that's about it, though.
Very nice, Bill.
Chris,
Thanks for sharing all this information with us. And
oh, you're welcome. I'm glad to do it. This picture was taken when I first went to Le Havre. I just got out of the hospital. Went over to Le Havre, and I had
let's
that
see.
picture
Here we go.
taken there.
I got you here somewhere. Let's see. I'll just pull this
I
back.
have no identification on there at all.
Mm-hmm.
Just-
You look like you had a nice recovery, though. Your arm
Oh, I did.
might not have been in great shape.
I had $1 million wound. You know, it's
Yeah, you
that's
did.
what they called them in those days. $1 million wound gets you out of combat. I kept this. This is a picture here of the old relay station over here in Relay on the B&O Railroad. That landmark, they tore it down, tore every bit of it down. Nothing is left there anymore. It's the viaduct, the Relay Viaduct across the Tapsico River is one of the 7 wonders of, of our country here, I think it is. And that was the train station there. And if you want to read a nice letter, you read this letter. I'm going to get ready to take off. Chris, you can leave this stuff here like it is, and I'll put it away. But if you want to read about, take this home with you.
All right.
But I'd like to head it back.
You bet.
Yeah.
Our Better Rifle Company. All right, Bill. Thank you very much.
So I'm going home.